Welcome to the Sport of Politics with Joel Robideau on 1037 The Game, online at 1037thegame.com. We discuss the local issues affecting you and the Acadiana area with Lafayette City Parish Mayor President Joel Robideau. From time to time, we'll have special guests and always make time to take your calls. Now, time for the Sport of Politics with Joel Robideau. Here's your host, Dave Schultz.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Sport of Politics. Dave Schultz along with Mayor President Joel Robideau on Acadiana Sports Station 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com. We are powered by Charlie G's, Louisiana Done, the Lafayette Way. All right, so not much going on in politics these days. Not in Louisiana, not nationally, nothing going on. Let's talk NCAA tournament St. Patrick's Day.
That's it. I forgot to wear my green.
All right, so where to start? Let's start off with, again, explain to me, and first of all, good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
And thank you for making the
little commute.
the commute back from the golf course.
Yeah, not bad. We'll go back out there if it's dry. Okay, so if people want to give us a call, you can, 706-0111, 706-0111. We'll be glad to take your calls, and Mayor Joel will be happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have. All right, so let's inform me again, and I'm sure everyone else is familiar, but, I'm a Yankee. So the difference between a special session for the Louisiana legislature and a regular session, which they are in now, correct?
Correct. They're in the regular
Correct.
session. In Louisiana, and it differs among states, but in Louisiana, every year there's a regular session, and it falls in the March, April, May, June time frame. That regular session, though, rotates each year. One year it's a non-fiscal session, which means you deal with general bills only, nothing to do with taxes and tax credits or any of that. The next year it's a fiscal session where you can actually file bills to address taxes and those types of things. So this is a general session, a non-fiscal session. It's the regular session. And so that's why, because this year's regular session was a non-fiscal session, that's why the governor had to call a special session, because in order to take up fiscal issues like taxes and credits and all of those things, he had to call a special session, and in that call actually state you can file legislation that deals with taxes and fiscal matters. But right now they're in the regularly scheduled regular session that happens to be a general session.
And was this something relatively new, or has this been going on in Louisiana?
No, it's been going on in Louisiana for a while. And actually, during the fiscal session, which will be this time next year, they can address, all the tax issues then. But you're also allowed during the fiscal sessions, each legislator is allowed to file a certain number, 5 general bills. So it's more than just a fiscal session, because if that was the case, then really only the Ways and Means Committee and the Appropriations Committee on the House side would have to meet, and the same 2 committees over on the Senate side would have to meet.
Right. And I guess for comparison's sake, doesn't Texas legislature meet once every 2 years? They don't even do it annually. Whatever they're doing, they meet every 2 years. Which
they meet every other year.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a kind of a cush job, if you can get it.
Kind of a cush job. I think it pays about $7,200 a year.
Oh, all right. Well, not that cush, but
then they get retirement. And Louisiana is a part-time, getting paid $22,000 a year with no retirement. It's not a full-time job, so you don't get any of those benefits anymore. You used to, but that's been gone for about 20 years now.
All right. Dave Schultz along with Joel Robideau, Mayor President of Lafayette City Parish, on the Sport of Politics, powered by Charlie G's. Okay, so the legislature almost did its job for this year's budget. Do we know what number they came up with when when everything settled? Well, I don't know what it was when everything settled. Everyone was like $30 million or $50 million short, which isn't bad on a $900 million budget shortfall. The problem was they were $800 million short for the next term, which begins July 1st?
Correct.
Okay, that's the next fiscal year. So that's where the issue is. So we're going to do this, I would say, backwards, because they're going to have to cut before they can raise taxes for a special session, which we think is going to happen in June.
Right.
We think.
Yeah. Oh, no, there'll be another special session.
There will be. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless they cut, the 850 or 750 now, they're saying the number looks to be whatever that number is, the shortage. I guess they could cut that during this regular session, and then they wouldn't have to go back in because they would have just made all the cuts and be finished with it. But I don't think that's a realistic scenario. So they'll make some cuts. Well, they'll make all the cuts because constitutionally they're required to come up with a balanced budget. So they'll have to make all those cuts. And then they'll be called into the special session, basically saying, all right, what revenue are we willing to generate in order to mitigate some of those cuts?
So let's go back to where we started with all this.
Yep.
How much in danger is Tops and LSU football for the fall?
Well, I would.
That's where we all started with this mess.
Yeah. Is that the right order? I mean, would people care which one Tops first or LSU football?
Well, that's the problem, is that Tops is what affects LSU football. Obviously, LSU football is the priority, but if we don't finish out the school year, then we get incompletes and, Leonard Fournette can't play. That's what people really care about.
That's right.
Oddly enough.
I would say, Tops is certainly in jeopardy of, and when I say in jeopardy, I probably shouldn't use that phrase because you could just stop and put a period there if people wanted to quote me. But it's in jeopardy of being revisited. And there will be a lot of discussion about how much it's grown, how fast it's grown, how it's been, just a typical governmental budget item that has grown significantly over the course of its lifetime. It's been expanded to include a whole lot more students. It's been expanded beyond its original intent. And some people believe it should have been. It should have been more inclusive and not limited to just the highest achieving students. But the bottom line is, instead of costing the state the 60 or so million in its original form, it's expanded to where it's over 300 million.
Right.
And so it'll be discussed. And what changes will happen, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, that's the legislative process. I mean, they'll go through all kinds of debates and iterations, and at the end of the day, we'll see if it's something that's just simply a cap moving forward, or if they actually do some modifications to who qualifies to get it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who gets grandfathered in, because it's tough to tell a junior in college. Now you need a certain amount of grades, even though they probably should have been getting them beforehand, but that's tough to do. Or even a graduating senior, what they thought was qualified is now not. So you're going to have to grandfather some people in. So you're not going to really be able to save money until, I would tell you that you would have to start with this year's freshman class in high school would be the class of 2020, something like
class
that.
Class of 60, 2020.
When the ones entering high school in the fall,
21,
they would be the grandfathered in. If you want to move it up to sophomores, already in their second year of high school, that might be acceptable, but you can't pull the rug out from anybody who's ready to graduate college. And I didn't graduate with a 3.0, so it would have been tough for me to get my GPA up there. But of course, I wasn't getting scholarship money either.
Right, and so
for that exact reason.
I was gonna make a comment. I said, what? I'm gonna leave David alone.
Right. All right, so we will see what happens with that. All right, lots more to do on the sport of politics. How was your week? You got you took in a little Park International, right? Taste of Lafayette.
Yeah, that was great. Lafayette's got so many good things going on. I did the ribbon cutting at Costco last night.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And got to see a little sneak peek of the inside of the new Costco. So, that's quite a development. That whole area, not just the Costco. The Costco's great. Hired a bunch of folks that, were, displaced oil field workers. And so it's been timing of it's great for Lafayette.
And Costco is actually one of those retailers where you can actually, may not be the best of all living, but, managers.
Oh, yeah. No,
they're making, pretty good 5-figure salaries. So it's not bad. It's not exactly minimum wage.
No,
for the little bit higher ups. So.
A lot of great opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you buy anything? Did you get me anything?
I got my wife.
Good idea.
Last thing I wanted to do was be on the news cutting the ribbon and then not show up with a card.
Right.
So I went and got in line with one of the helpers and paid my money and got a Costco card for my wife.
There you go. Oh, very nice.
So,
all right. Job well done.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
Right. Right. Job well done. All right. We will be back with more Sport of Politics on 103.7 The Game with Mayor President Joel Robideau. We are powered by Charlie G's Louisiana Done the Lafayette Way.
Now, back to Sport of Politics on 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com with Lafayette City Parish Mayor President Joel Robideau. Here's your host, Dave Schultz.
All right, welcome back to the Sport of Politics, powered by Charlie G's. Louisiana down the Lafayette way. Dave Schultz, along with Lafayette City Parish Mayor President Joel Robideau. I mean, we got, it seemed always someone's nationally news for Lafayette, and now it is Mackenzie Borg on the final 6 of American Idol. And, again, I'm not the biggest fan of American Idol, but don't they come home? Doesn't he bring the film crew with him somewhere along the way?
Yeah.
And Lafayette's going to get a little pub. Can you get him to come on to this show?
Well, you know,
You got that poll?
I didn't really think about that. Yeah, I think if he makes it to the top 4, I don't know the details of the show well enough to know, but I think once they made the top 10, they kind of reached out to all the communities to kind of put us on alert that, hey, look, if they become a Final Four, we do these hometown visits, and we, you know, like to make sure that there can be a concert and those kinds of things. So it's exciting. So if people want to see it, they need to make sure and vote.
Right.
Because, he's in the top 6. It's very exciting. He's a talented young man.
You're a politician. It's all about coattails. It's all about the news, and bring him in on here.
Gotcha.
It's all about the coattails. You know,
Yeah.
we're tagging along.
Yeah, that's right.
We are tagging along. All right, we'll be happy to take your calls on the ropesoapanddope.com hotline, the Sport of Politics with Mayor Joel Robideau. All right, we got the Project Front Yard and the debris drop-off this weekend.
Yeah. Now, you know Mackenzie was an athlete, too.
He was.
Sports
Yeah. Well, apparently, the head coach of STM basketball, Danny Broussard,
Mm-hmm.
takes full credit for discovering him as a musical talent.
Well,
That whole story is amazing, right? I mean, he missed a year of high school due to a heart virus.
Right, exactly.
That he's even still here is pretty much a miracle.
Yeah.
And he came back to play basketball.
Yep.
And he's been on 2 music TV shows.
Yeah, and he was a really good baseball player, too.
Right. Nice.
He
nice.
was, he's doing great.
Well, before he signs any record deal, and it costs us money, we need him to do
do it now.
either, a 1037 The Game, either a promo, a little music, interlude, or a sports chat song. Medley.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there.
Or Sport of Politics.
Medley. I didn't think of
right.
that.
Right, little promo song.
Little ditty.
Yeah, little ditty.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what we need. Once he signs the contract, then it's going to cost me money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Right.
I'm afraid it's getting dangerously close to that already.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he is. But
he's doing pretty well.
He needs doing a little pro bono work.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
For the local company. All right. So Project Front Yard and the debris drop off.
Yeah, we've got a big cleanup at University this Friday that we're doing with Project Front Yard, kind of in the Four Corners area of University and Cameron Street. We've got a lot of community leaders, a lot of volunteers. I don't know if it's 20, 40, but it'll be a great project. And then we have the debris drop-off on Saturday, 7:30 till noon. And the drop-off locations are, if I could, I'm going to read them here, at Beaver Park, Plantation Park, Brown Park, Moore Park, and Neyland Park. And so if there's stuff that that you've been accumulating and wanting to get rid of and just hadn't had the time or effort to be able to do it, and or been waiting since last year, since the last debris drop off, here's your opportunity. Load it all up in the back of the truck, or borrow a friend's, or get a trailer and haul it there, and the folks from Public Works will be ready to take it for you and then dispose of it correctly. So, good opportunity to clean out your backyards and your sheds and all of that kind of thing.
And then that Project Front Yard is such a great idea because everyone takes such pride here in Acadiana in the backyard, grilling and bringing friends and family over. And, I'm sure you've seen down Congress. We got this one gentleman who, it is the gardens of Acadiana as far as I'm concerned. It's always gorgeous. He's always pristine. And, I always know that my run is almost done when I pass his house on the way back. But that's a great idea because everyone takes pride in the backyard, but sometimes people forget about the front yard.
Yeah. And it is good. And it is just to, establish a mindset out there to let everybody know. We have visitors that come in from all over the state. We have visitors that come from all over the country. We have visitors that come in from all over the world. And so we want our impression or their impression of our community to be, one that sells us and explains to them visually who we are. And so it's Project Front Yard's an important initiative that Mayor Durrell put in place, and we're going to continue it. And I know a lot of other communities in our Acadiana area have picked up on it, and they're doing it also. So it's great. It's a great thing to volunteer for, and it's something we're proud of.
All right, Interim Police Chief Thomas had his Community Relations Committee meet for the first time this week. How did that go?
That went well. Reggie, Chief Thomas, it's something he wanted to do and kind of take it to the next level and make sure that the community felt like they actually had a voice in what the policing efforts would be in the communities where it's needed most. And so it was very well received. He had his first meeting, and he was excited about it, and he was excited about the turnout and how well it went. So it's overdue, and it's something that's going to work well.
And then, having said that, where are we in the process of finding the new police chief? You've been saying it's a process just to get the standards changed, I guess.
Yeah.
The minimum requirements.
Yeah, it's a process, that's for sure.
Right,
and so we're in the first 30-day. Well, I guess the first process was naming the interim chief. The second part of the process was coming up with what the requirements for a permanent police chief would be. Once I did that, I went in front of the Civil Service Board. So then it's a 30-day process for that to be a public document. And so people can weigh in. Hey, we like this about it. Hey, we don't like this about it. But make their comments felt and heard by the board. The board then will decide what the qualifications will be as they see it after that 30-day period, and then I can ask them to post whatever those final qualifications are for another 30 or 45 days, however long I want to keep the application period open, and so people will then apply based on those qualifications to actually sit for the civil service exam that will be crafted based on those qualifications.
All right, we're on the Sport of Politics, powered by Charlie G's. Louisiana done the Lafayette way. You're welcome to give us a call, 706-0111, 706-0111 on the ropesoapanddope.com hotline if you want to ask Mayor President Joel Robideau a question. All right, so we've been hanging out at Le Triomphe all week long at the Chitimacha, Louisiana Open, and despite the tough economic times, and by the way, gas has jumped about 30 cents here in about 3 weeks, so that is good for the local economy. But yet this tournament is still committed to doing $150,000 for local charities who now need it more than ever. And, and it's a larger field. So this, I think, is about 154 golfers, and a lot of those are caddies with them. This is a little boost to the economy as well, the hotel and the restaurants, even though, Keith Kidry hooked me up with all the kosher pork chops I could eat yesterday out on the golf course. Yum, yum.
Yeah, you have a rough life. But, no, it is a shot in the arm. All of these types of events, and I mean, this is a really big one, the Chitimacha Open. And so, it just is another, economic driver for this community. And so the fact that it's one of the biggest fields, if not the biggest field that they've had, you're right. It's, people eating out, people enjoying the things that we have to offer. And so, we encourage them to enjoy it as much as possible.
And then another way to boost your individual economy, these 50-50s at the UL baseball games and the softball games, they're reaching 4 figures.
Yeah.
I don't work for UL. I need to start putting them into the 50-50. You go home with $1,000 or $1,200.
Yeah. No,
that's huge.
No, it is. Big crowds.
And then there's rumors. We got a rumor. We need to confirm the rumor.
I don't know. I'm not a rumor monger.
I am.
Okay.
I will perpetuate all rumors. Are you throwing out a first pitch?
Oh yeah, that is. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
I'm afraid it is.
You don't sound all that happy about it.
No, I'm vacillating. Do I go with the hard slider?
Right.
Or do I I think it's going to be the for lack of any other options, it's going to be a changeup.
Right.
I don't think there's any other pitch I can throw.
Well, the problem was Gary Broadhead goes out there, the women's basketball coach at the Tig, and throws a cut fastball, hits the outside corner at the knees. Bob Marlin follows it and bounces one up to home plate.
Okay, I'm glad you told me about Bob because I was starting to feel the pressure. I remember when HUD was hired, he came out and threw it, and it was like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right.
Yeah, They're not going to get that out of the mayor president. I can assure you, it's going to be.
Well, don't hurt yourself. That's the beginning.
Well, you know,
right? Warm up beforehand.
I'm looking at a 60-foot
right
change up.
Right.
That's what I'm going for.
Try not to bounce it. I think I bounced it for the King Cutters. It's embarrassing.
Oh, you did bounce it?
Oh yeah. It's longer than you think it is, and
yeah, no, 60 feet. You're right.
You always practice playing catch standing up, and then you try and throw a pitch, and you bounce it. No, if I go back out there, we'll have to,
I'm feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, yeah. Don't choke.
Well, and then you're going to have me overthinking it, and I'm gonna end up throwing it 10 feet over the catcher's head because I don't want to bounce it.
But that would be better than bouncing it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Right.
Outside, you're right. I think bouncing it probably is.
Right.
Unless you bounce it 20 feet to the left like 50 Cent did. You know what I mean? Or
right,
he bounced it towards the dugout. It wasn't even remotely.
Well, that would be the other way. You could be all social media Joel and the video would go viral instantaneously.
I don't believe in your 15 minutes of fame. I do not want a viral video of me shanking a first pitch.
Oh yeah, if you threw it over the catcher's head all the way to the backstop, wow, what an arm.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
okay.
Much better idea.
I'm glad we're having this strategy conversation because I'm determined to do better than you. So you bounced it.
I bounced it doing the King Cutters. Yeah, you need to.
There's a good
When's
chance.
this happening again?
This is Friday night.
Friday night. All right. Well, we're doing the game on TV, so no pressure.
Oh, that's great.
No pressure. All right. We'll be back with more Sport of Politics. Lafayette City Parish Mayor President Joel Robideau, powered by Charlie G's, Louisiana Done, the Lafayette Way. Stay tuned for more on Acadiana Sports Station 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com and mobile app, powered by McDonald's.
Back to Sport of Politics on 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com.
All right, welcome back to the Sport of Politics. Dave Schultz, along with the Lafayette City Parish Mayor President Joel Robideau. We're on Acadiana Sports Station 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com. We'll be on Friday at 7 on KDCG TV. So we'll be recovering from St. Patrick's Day today. Ben Love will be at the tap room if you'd like to join us from 4 to 7. You can be on the radio again.
I can, but I have other commitments.
Other obligations.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk a little national politics because it does appear that we have our nominees, allegedly. All right, Hillary seems to have basically what is an insurmountable lead over Bernie Sanders, but, good for him for staying in. And Donald Trump seems to be on the same way on the GOP side. Marco Rubio has dropped out. I'm guessing the most disappointing campaign on that side, even though others have dropped out well beforehand. But John Kasich is going nowhere. He just won Ohio. Ted Cruz, he's won Texas. He doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Donald Trump is now, and I don't blame him on this one. This is a good move. We've had plenty of debates. I don't know what's going to happen in a debate now that already has not happened. I guess it'd be, just 3 of them up there besides.
Yeah.
Didn't we start off with double digits? So it's a little bit different, but their answers aren't going to change.
Yeah,
right?
It started off with a debate, a JV debate.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like back in high school where you had the JV games before and then you had the big game after.
Exactly.
But the big games had double figures.
Yeah.
And so they had double figures JV and double figures for the big game.
Yeah, so that was a little bit odd. So Donald Trump has decided I ain't showing up to the Fox debate. So John Kasich said I'm not showing up to the Fox debate. And Ted Cruz can't debate himself, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So they canceled the debate. So now Donald Trump is really dictating how this campaign is going, as more so than he already is.
Right.
Can the establishment, if there is an establishment in the GOP, I don't know who that is anymore, the National Review, I guess, can they stop Donald Trump from getting the nomination? And again, I'm still of the belief that regardless of who the nominee is, doesn't matter who it is. One person gets 45, the other person gets 45%, and the election is decided by the 10% who sways who, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. That's what they're starting with. It doesn't seem like the establishment GOP thinks that's the case with Donald Trump. I will believe that when I see it. So I think he's already starting with 45 nationally. I don't care what the polls say or anything along those lines, because it's really not a national election. It's a state-by-state election.
That's right. Yeah, which is an interesting point because I don't when you look at it, as a state by state, and using your analysis of the 45-45,
Yeah.
you could say, look, the Republican nominee is going to win these states,
Right.
and the Democratic nominee is going to win these states. And so, which states are in play? And it's typically the Floridas, the Ohios, and there's a list of about 5, 6, 7 maybe
Right.
states out there that are always not red or not blue, but they're kind of purple, and it just really kind of depends on who the candidate is. And so, for the Republican establishment, if you look at a Cruz, the question would be, which of those states, which of those
Right.
Rust Belt states is Ted Cruz going to be the Democrat in? And I think the argument would be probably none.
You're right.
But that if you look at those states and you look at the turnout that happened this past Tuesday, and whether they want to admit it or not, the turnout and the massive numbers of turnout, even in Florida, is because Trump's in the
Right.
race, and he's the one that's turning those people out to vote. And so those swing states are all in play if Donald Trump is the nominee. But the Republican establishment just is finding every reason possible to try to figure out another scenario where it's the nominee is anyone but him. And the rules allow for it. And so
Well, we'll see what the rules are, right? I don't know if they've determined what the rules are, and it'll be interesting to see who makes the rules, because usually the candidate who's going to accept the nomination is involved in making the rules, along with the Republican National Committee or the Democrat National Committee.
Yeah,
depending
well,
which convention?
Again, if it's a contested, and I think there is certainly a chance that Trump's not going to have the 1,267.
Oh, that's very yeah.
So then it becomes a contested convention, which means the delegates are obligated by law to,
Right.
or by rule to cast a vote for whoever their state did. But after that, it's chaos. It's who
Right.
you can.
Right.
It's just brokering deals as to say, hey, who wants to vote for who, and how we're going to do this, and what factions can get together to somehow try to get to the 1,267. And you can go back and look at now I'm drawing a blank on what year it was, and I think we had talked about it before, where they took 103 ballot votes before they came up with the nominee.
Wow.
And so they just iteration after iteration after iteration until they finally settle on somebody. And that's why this whole Paul Ryan thing is coming up.
Right. There
Because
you go.
they can go and say, look, we can name anybody. We can name Dave Schultz.
Or Mitt Romney.
Or
Well,
Mitt
we don't want to
Romney.
name
No,
names.
yeah, well,
No.
that's right. Well, and
Right,
we're not going
right.
to get into your politics here,
Well,
for sure.
Right.
But so-
well, we could go to the 4-day work week if I get elected.
Well,
you
that's
want
true.
to see how
Yeah,
quickly I'm elected with a
that was
4-day
funny.
work week.
Yeah. So
both employers and employees are going to like
Everybody.
Dave Schultz. Yeah.
So they so if it's if Trump doesn't get to the 1,267,
Right.
then it goes to this contested convention, which has happened before, and it works itself out. And the rules simply are, you're free to pretty much. I mean, there's rules between superdelegates and delegates, and it gets a little complicated. But the simplest explanation is it's wide open votes, and it's everybody trying to decide who's going to be with who. Trump could just go to the Kasich voters and say, hey, you come on board as a VP, bring me your delegates, and I'm at the number. Cruz could do the same thing. Rubio could come back in. Jeb Bush could come back in. Romney could come back in. And so who those delegates want to vote for is who's going to ultimately get it, not who they're obligated to vote for, which is only on the first ballot.
Well, it will be interesting, and there
It'll
obviously
be very interesting.
politics involved with this. But John Kasich is a very interesting VP potential because he does put Ohio
Yeah,
into
that's right.
play.
Exactly.
Popular governor. I would say he benefited from the recent economy,
Yep.
as
But-
I think Jeb Bush seemed to do when the economy was booming in the 90s. But you're on the top, you're there, so you can take credit for it. So that would make it interesting. Regardless of who Trump is running against. So that he brings something to the table in Ohio. I'm not sure what Rubio brings to Florida because he's so anti-immigration, per se, or anti-illegal immigration.
He just did so
crushed,
poorly
right.
in Florida. And, I mean,
Right.
that was why I think a lot of folks speculated that he may drop out before Florida so he wouldn't actually have those numbers
Right.
for people to to analyze, his influence on that state. And so now you look at it and say, well, am I really going to pick up, votes by having him?
Right. And Kasich could be like, Biden was to Obama, a little bit more gravitas, been in the Senate for so long and has a foreign policy experience. John Kasich, congressman, senator, and governor.
Right.
And right? And then all of a sudden the GOP is like, well, in case something does happen to Donald Trump, we have somebody who is in line to actually be president of the United States. That's not the worst choice, and it puts Ohio
in play.
All right? Whereas if Hillary takes one of the Castro brothers from Texas, I don't know if it puts Texas into play, even though that
there's no
state
Texas,
is trending blue, but it is going to be a long trend.
Yeah, I don't think it's there yet.
No, it's not there yet.
That's a red state. Yeah.
Right. But it also maybe helps out Florida.
That's
one
right.
One of the Castro brothers, but the mayor of San Antonio is one of them, and the other one in the housing in D.C.
That's right.
I think so. That's an interesting situation there. But we are just getting going with all of this, I guess. Well, I guess the first part's coming to an end here. We'll see how long it takes to get to that end. I guess the thing that will be interesting to see if Donald Trump gets the delegates and, can Reince Priebus of the RNC, get one of those guys to bow out beforehand to prevent chaos, or does he want the chaos? Again, it shouldn't be this way, but you're going to get ratings, baby. The Republican National Convention, I'll tell you this, it could match Super Bowl ratings. You could get Super Bowl. The only problem is it's held over for a certain amount of days.
No, it doesn't matter. That's like a mini series.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's tough to beat it one-on-one because it's a certain 3 hours for the Super Bowl, 3.5 hours for the Super Bowl. But over the amount of days, it'll get huge. It'll get huge ratings, and Donald Trump will take all the credit in the world for that.
Yeah, there'll be another Best of Enemies documentary on that one, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of prognosticators debating on what's actually going on during that convention. It's going to be interesting.
And they all get it wrong. All the prognosticators.
Well, certainly this time. They've been wrong every time.
They've been all wrong. And Chris Matthews floating out there, Hillary should take John Kasich as her VP. Yeah, that would go over well with absolutely nobody.
Republican or Democrat.
The Democrats don't want any part of that. And, why would the Republicans want that? That would be,
No,
that would not work well at all. All right, we will continue. We're going to see if we can.
She would win Ohio, though.
Well, that would be the end of it.
That would be the end of it.
I mean, as prognosticators go, Republicans have not won a presidential race ever without winning Ohio.
Right.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. No.
But I agree. I think it's just stupid to even bring that up.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right, we have more. All right, we've already talked. We already found out that Joel is doing the first pitch Friday night at the Cajuns game. We'll see if we can talk him into doing a little bit more exercise during Festival Day International. We'll be back, or Festival International Day Louisiana. Excuse me.
There you go.
All right, we'll be back after this on the Sport of Politics, powered by Charlie G's, Louisiana Done, the Lafayette Way, on Acadiana Sports Station, 103.7 The Game, or 103.7thegame.com, and mobile app powered by McDonald's. All right, back on the Sport of Politics with Mayor President Joel Robideau on Acadiana Sports Station, 103.7 The Game and 103.7thegame.com. We are broadcasting on the radio on Thursday, but be on TV on KDCG TV on a Friday. But happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Ben Love will be at the Tap Room later on Thursday. Okay, little bit of news, a little bit of crime. Two geniuses stealing from parking meters.
Yes. Right. Arrested. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How much could they possibly have taken, and how long was it going on for?
Well, I'm going to say I don't know. I know the investigation's ongoing, so I have to.
But arrests have been made.
Arrests have been made,
right.
and I'm trying to remember what was actually public or not public. So I better beg off on this one and just say.
Well, they
that
gave the names out.
Yeah,
Felony theft with the parking meters by LGC employee and another accomplice.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there was an LGC employee and someone else, and but I don't know about the amounts and some of the details, or and what I'm allowed to talk about. So I'll just say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll say yes to what?
I'll say yes that there were arrests were made.
Oh, okay.
And the
All
investigation is ongoing.
Okay. All right. So we'll see where that leads. Mom always gave me a good piece of advice. If you're gonna steal something, make sure that it's worth it. Because stealing $500 from a bank ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Right. You better get away with 7 figures, because if you do get away with it, you're in good shape. But if you don't, what are they gonna do with a few $1,000s? Again, that's why they're probably stealing money from parking meters.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? No comment on that.
You threw your mom under the bus.
Right.
Sometimes I just shake my head, and I know it's radio, but I don't even know how to comment.
It's on TV.
Some of the stuff that comes out of your mouth.
Go big or go home.
Well, that's a better statement than saying my mama always told me that if you're going to steal, to steal enough to make it worth it.
That's what this comment would be like. If we were sitting at home watching this, these guys stealing, a few $1,000s is not worth it to go to jail for grand larceny. Right? Again, the chances that you get away with something like this is very, very slim. Right? So, But if I do get away with it, I need to be on the beach collecting 20%.
And it's good because this is your opinion now, not what your mama told you.
Right.
So I'm fine with that. I just I wasn't sure how to respond.
Right.
When you
she's not telling me to steal. Let's make sure.
Okay. All right.
But
Thank you.
Her idea is that if these idiots.
No, not her idea. She's not part of this conversation.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, okay. No.
I don't know the lady, but
her
I
comment
just
would be,
refuse
why are these dummies taking such loose change when they're going to get caught anyways?
There you go.
All right.
I can live with that.
Okay.
All right.
Is that all right? Boy, I did throw my mother under the bus.
Yeah, that's just.
That's poor form.
Poor form is a good way to put it.
Poor form. All right.
Speaking of poor form, you're not going to bring up me throwing out that first pitch again.
Well, you're throwing it Friday night.
My form's going to be pretty poor.
Are we lefty or righty?
I'm left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it'll probably have a little break.
No. I'm going straight as I can.
Straight change?
Over the head of the catcher.
Over the head of the catcher.
I'm aiming, and then if I still bounce it.
You're bringing the heat.
Now people will know that I was trying to throw it over his head and still bounced it. It's almost even worse.
That's not going to be good.
You know what I mean? Whereas if I was trying to throw a strike and bounced it, maybe it was a 55-foot pitch instead of a 60-foot pitch.
Right.
But now that we've made it clear that I'm not aiming for the strike zone, I'm going to the backstop, and if I bounce it, it's going to be really
that's gonna
embarrassing.
Be good.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell the TV cameras to roll.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to tell somebody to do the show on Thursday.
There you go. I won't come back.
Yeah,
won't come back.
Take 2 weeks of recovery.
Right. Hopefully you don't throw your shoulder out. All right, we do have, on this week, we have the Louisiana Open going on. And then in a month or so, actually, 5 weeks, Festival International Day at Louisiana. Tell us about that. Let's go into that.
Yeah, so we raised the flag yesterday for Festival International. It's kind of the month leading up to the festival. This year they're selling the Festival International flags, and so what they're it's $20 a piece, and I'm gonna read off a couple of places where you can get them. But basically, it's a fundraiser for the festival, which is a free festival,
right?
Which is is difficult to do. I mean, it really is, especially with the crowds that come. It gets harder and harder to keep it free. So they're selling these flags. We'd love for it to become festival season, the month leading up to festival, similar to the Mardi Gras situation, where people are flying their Mardi Gras flags. And so you can get the flags at a few different places. Like I said, they were $20. Proceeds benefit the Festival International. You can get them at Guidry's Hardware, located on Jefferson Street, the Acadiana Center for the Arts downtown. Both locations of Twins Burgers and Sweets are selling the flags, and then both locations of Parish Inc. So encourage everybody to grab a flag, help out the festival. It's a huge economic driver for the economy, and I said huge. I was waiting for you to
huge.
Yeah, you go to give me the huge.
Huge.
But it is. It's a great cause. It helps out this community tremendously. So encourage everybody to grab themselves a flag and display it proudly.
All right, then on April 23rd, during the festival, there is a 5K run that I'm hosting, and I can have my lobby group for the sidewalk straighten out project,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
out
mhm.
project,
Yeah.
with me. Can we get you to run the 5K?
And that's
3.1 miles, no
that-
time limit.
that's April 23rd.
April 23rd. You in town?
A little, I don't know, but regardless, the answer I'm afraid is the same. Yeah,
Right.
there's no chance.
Okay.
I just, God, I'm pitiful, but
You can come out and help me announce everything.
I'll be happy to
7 a.m. Saturday morning.
Yeah, yeah,
Are you
I'll-
up that early on a Saturday morning?
could be,
Right.
you know, maybe my wife will run it. I'll get
All
my
right.
wife to run it.
Well,
for
you can
me.
run or walk,
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
I could.
but you can come out. You're more than welcome to join us for those festivities. I think it gets underway at 7. I think the run starts at 8.
At 8.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Well,
We'll
that's
have more
good.
details.
That's good. Well, I encourage folks to do that. Do the run also. You
Right.
know, it's is it through downtown or
Yes,
it is
right in through downtown. Right.
Okay. Well,
Right.
that'll be good with all the stages up and
Yeah.
everything. It'll make it a
Right. And it's
fun.
3.1. You can do that in your sleep. Come on. 3.1 miles.
yeah, sure.
I have seen, it's interesting, on our little paving project here on the Glorious Switch Access Road. It's starting on the other side, on the northbound side. On 49, I guess that is the east side, if I know
Mhm.
my directions.
Yep.
What happened to the west side? Right here by Delta Media. It's like you're trolling me or something like that. We're going to get the other side where you don't travel on done first. The paving is coming along. Oh, is that first and this second?
Well, you know they say that the squeaky wheel
Right.
gets oiled.
Yes.
But sometimes if you squeak too much, it has the opposite
The
effect.
boomerang effect?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure the reason is solely just to punish you.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
I'm sure, I have no doubt
yes.
that those plans came in front of your desk and you said, can we start on the other
yes,
side
and I switched
of the
it.
highway?
I
Yes,
switched it
yes,
around.
yes. It was going to do on this side, on the west side of the access road, and you go, nope. Let's go over on the other side, and then we'll do in front of Prejean's as well before we get over to the Delta Media side.
No comment. But
Yeah, no
it
comment.
sounds like you might have it figured out.
All right. We'll be back to wrap up Sport of Politics with Mayor President Joel Robideau, powered by Charlie G's, Louisiana Done, the Lafayette Way on Acadiana Sports Station, 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com.
Back to Sport of Politics on 1037 The Game and 1037thegame.com.
All right, Dave Schultz along with Mayor President Joel Robideau on the Sport of Politics, powered by Charlie G's. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. All right, strong topic to finish up with, and we only have a couple of minutes, and I'm sure this will be a big topic of conversation next week on Sports Chat, but the LHSAA getting a little competition.
Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank on that's Louisiana High School Sports Cooperative, I think. So
Oh, okay.
LHSSC or something.
Oh, wonderful.
And so they, there's an effort afoot to start a new organization that will be in competition with the
Right.
LHSAA and invite these schools that feel like the LHSAA doesn't represent them well to say, hey, come join us, and we'll have our own athletic agency that has its own playoff system and do it the way that you guys want to do it. Because, you know, the split that occurred with the LHSAA is, you know, now that's the two football
Right.
champ. Now they're going to basketball and they're doing it for all sports. You know, those votes are all made with a simple majority, which means that, you know, just barely over half of the schools wanted that to happen. And so it'll be interesting to see. I know there's legislation that's been filed to accommodate the new entity, and so we'll see what happens. But it's worth watching, that's for sure.
Yeah, it will be interesting because then you're starting to talk about contracts with like the Dome in New Orleans
Oh yeah,
and who's got the right to play there. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, you're playing a home game if you don't have a contract, or if you don't have a right to play there. I don't know. And does the Superdome say, all right, LHSAA gets one weekend, and then the other association gets the other weekend. They can dictate as well. And
Yep.
you wonder if they want to dictate in any of this.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of folks are going to be put in an uncomfortable
Right.
position, but the LHSAA, in a lot of ways, has been its own worst enemy. So, they hopefully, whatever happens, it'll end up, benefiting the schools
Right.
and the athletic programs in some way. And, but we'll see. It's going to be controversial.
Little politics involved.
It's Louisiana, man. Politics is
Right.
in everything.
Talk about sport of politics.
Sport of politics. That is definitely that's a whole show you ought to have to
Yeah, it really is. We probably
monitor that one.
should get a couple of guests from that. All right, want to thank Mayor President Joel Robideau from Lafayette City Parish for joining us on his own show. Thank you so much coming on 103.7 The Game. We are powered by Charlie G's, a broadcast of the show on TV Friday at 7 on KDCG TV. Want to thank Dylan and Alan Michael for doing a bang-up job. The effort is always appreciated. The Alan Michael Show coming up next on radio from 10 to 11. I'll be back on Sports Chat Friday at 6 live from Le Triomphe, getting ready for the second round of the Chitimacha Louisiana Open. Have a great day, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day.